everyone, so as you can tell by the title down below, we're going to be making some lasagna. I was originally going to do the pasta noodles or the pasta lasagna sheets from scratch, but I've decided I can't be bothered to do that today. But we're going to be doing the sauce from scratch. We're going to be making a homemade bechamel sauce, cheese mixture, everything else. So let's just get started. I want to quickly mention as well that I'm going to start with the meat sauce, or just the lasagna sauce in general, and I'm going to let that cook for about 2-3 hours, and then we're going to assemble the lasagna. Alright, so I got a couple of tablespoons of oil in my pan. This is 500 grams of beef sausage mince. So I'm just going to break that up. I got my heat on a medium-high heat as well, but it's not heated up yet, but that's fine. So yeah, I'm just going to be chopping up this sausage mince. And I also got 500 grams of pork mince, just your normal mince meat. So I'm going to just chop that up as well. Now, as our meat cook, we're going to obviously keep mixing it and chopping it out and smashing it up to smaller pieces. But I'm going to let it sizzle for a little bit, fry up for a little bit, and hopefully get a really nice caramelization kind of happening on the meat before we mix again and chop up. So it might be a few minutes, but yeah, you just want to leave it for a little bit and then we'll keep mixing and chopping, leave it for a bit, and so on and so forth. Alright, so while I'm waiting for the meat to cook and get nice and brown and caramelized, I am starting on the bechamel sauce. So with this, on medium-high heat, I got 3 tablespoons of butter melting. Once the butter is either like completely melted or almost melted, I'm just going to mince in a couple of cloves of garlic. We're mixing the garlic into the butter to then make a seasoned roux. Adding in 3 tablespoons of flour, because you want equal parts of butter and flour when you do this. Giving that a mix for about a minute or 2, and then adding some milk. So I'm adding milk in slowly in batches, and you just want the milk to heat up. So you add cold milk to the hot roux, and then once it comes up to temperature, it will thicken. So you just want to do it little by little. It all depends on your consistency to your liking, but for a bechamel to go on top of a lasagna, I highly recommend to do it kind of thick. You don't want it too runny or liquidy. And also you will see me come back to add a couple more tablespoons of milk once I thought it was all good, because when it came up to a boil, or a simmer I should say, it needed a little bit more milk. So that was that. I then came back to the meat, turned it. It was delicious, smelling so good, looking so good. And now that the meat is all finally cooked, I added the vegetables. So the vegetables I'm using is 1 onion, half of the capsicum, 1 long mild red chili, and 3 carrots that I grated. I would have had celery as well, but I didn't have any on hand, and when I went to the store there was none in the store, so we're not having celery. But if you got celery, add that in. Even other vegetables like zucchini, eggplant, spinach, anything at all, you can definitely chuck that in. The main reason why I added the capsicum and the chili, I wouldn't have gone out to purchase those. It's just I had half capsicum in my fridge and we had 1 chili left over. So because we had it, I just used it. And you will give that a good mix. I added in 700 gram jar of passata, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of this red wine vinaigrette. What is it? Balsamic vinegar. And a couple of bay leaves, salt and pepper, the roux, and the mince mixture, or the meat mixture, the lasagna sauce mixture. And now with the lasagna sauce, so the roux is completely off the heat, and that can just sit there, that's completely fine. And with the meat, we have that down to a low, covered with a lid, and we'll just let that simmer, and every 10 or so minutes I'll come along and mix it, and we want it simmering for about 1 hour to 2 hours. Alright, so the sauce turned out beautifully. It was simmering for, I don't even know what the time is. Yeah, pretty much almost 2 hours. The last maybe 20 minutes I took the lid off just so it can reduce a little bit, which is perfectly fine. I'm just going to be cooking 1 small lasagna for tea tonight, because this will be plenty for the 3 of us. So we just want a little bit of the meat sauce at the bottom. And these are the lasagna sheets I'm using. You just want to cook it in the oven. The oven's preheating at 200 degrees at the moment, Celsius. And for these sheets, it needs to cook for 20 minutes. So the time will vary depending on the type of lasagna sheets you have. I think because it's just like this, I'm going to snap some. bits. I'm going to go with a little bit more meat sauce. Cheeses I'm using, I got some smooth ricotta cheese, and I just got this pre-shredded blend of mozzarella, cheddar and parmesan. So I'm going to be using a mixture of that. Obviously just use the cheeses that you like or that you want to, or what you have already. So with the ricotta, I'm just going to do little dollops. In total, that's probably about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of ricotta. And then I'm just going to try and get it spreaded evenly. Another sheet of pasta. Another layer of meat sauce. I'm just going to do a small handful over the top of this layer of the shredded cheese. Pasta. Meat sauce. And this is the bechamel sauce that we made. So we're just going to drizzle on. I like a nice layer of bechamel. So I'm probably going to be using about 1/2 of the mixture, maybe just a little bit less. Or we'll do about 1/2. And then we'll spread it around. Alright, some more pasta. Now because of this type of dish, it's thinner at the bottom, it's more narrow and then it goes up. So although it's overlapping a little bit, that should be fine for 2 sheets there. Last layer of meat sauce. And then I want a good covering of the shredded cheese on top. And now this is going to bake, like I said, it depends on your lasagna sheets, but this is going to go into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. So while that is in the oven, I'm just going to go along and making up these small foil trays, which is be perfect for in the freezer. I'm just going to do one at a time because I'm going to keep going until I run out of either the meat sauce probably first or the bechamel sauce. Also with layering, because these are smaller containers, I've added the ricotta cheese and the shredded cheese in the same layer. Alright, so with this one I've just done, I think I forgot to add in a piece of lasagna sheet. I should have done that after the bechamel sauce, but that's okay. It will still be delicious. And I'm going to take the lid off of this one because I also want to cook it in the oven and then I'll freeze it. So, yeah, whoopsie. Yum! So, smells incredible. It's been sitting out for about 20 minutes. I had the other freezer ones in for 10 minutes. I only done half the time because once they defrost, and I'll make a note on it when I write on the lid as well, but once the freezer ones defrost, we'll reheat them in the oven for a further 10 minutes. So we only wanted to cook those ones halfway. And with lasagnas, every time I try to serve it, it's not the aesthetically pleasing straight slab. So I am expecting it to fall, but we'll see how we go. Ooh. Okay. Maybe I'm getting better. Yum. Yeah, see, this one's a little bit more sloppy, but that's fine. It's still delicious regardless. Alright, so completed meal with obviously the lasagna, that coleslaw and some fries. Alright. Wow. That's amazing. It's so cheesy and flavorful and delicious. It's been so long since we had lasagna. I reckon this is probably the first time in like a year I've made it. I don't know why I don't make it often. It's delicious. It's easy. It's amazing. So that is all for today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe down below so you don't miss out on my future videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!